Advance. First ever console I owned myself as a child, 25 years later, and it's still a classic. So for today we will be repairing this one and then upgrading it with what's in there. Let's start off by finding out what's going on in there. I bought it as is and it won't power on, so let's see what it does. Let's put some batteries in there and see what it does. And straight away we can see a problem. That battery terminal is broken.
I don't really know why I'm bothering to put batteries in right now. I know what the result's going to be. The terminal's broken. I mean, look at that. It's got room to move. That's no good.
Look, if that's the only problem with this thing, then I've got a cracker of a deal. Now, I do hold some parts in stock. They happen to be one of them. To be safe, I will take the back cover off. We've got 7 screws all up. Most of them are the 3-point tri-wing BS ones that they always use. So in there, just through there, there's a metal bit which seems to be holding us back behind something in there. There we go. Just giving there a little bit of a clean first before putting the new one in. Alright, looks a bit cleaner in there. Put our new one in. We've got batteries in with our new terminals. And it turns on. This power switch. Power switch seems a bit hairy going. It turns off very easily, so we'll see if I've got some more power switches so I can swap that over when I'm inside. Alright, not a problem. Let's proceed with the disassembly. Let's take the board out for now. These old school ones are pretty straightforward to disassemble, which is nice and easy, which is good. And that is ridiculously simple to pull it apart. Get the rest of the stuff out so we can give it all a nice deep clean. Well, the insulation foam is not coming off very easily, but it is over 20 years old.
I'm just applying some heat to the front of this lens because there is adhesive holding it in, and there's also adhesive holding the screen in from the other side, so I don't want to break the screen by pulling up on it because the screen does still work. It'd be good for a test screen to use for troubleshooting purposes. So I'm applying heat to the front to peel up on this lens instead because I do get a new lens with this new kit. So if I do damage it anymore by taking it off or get it grubby and dusty, it doesn't matter, putting a new lens on anyway. Ideally while doing this I would use a whole new shell, but they didn't want to pay for one, so that's not how it goes this time.
Got the screen all out and everything now. Just remove the double-sided tape from it. And that way I can give this shell piece a wash because it is grubby.
As expected, there is a healthy buildup of gamer gunk.
Alright, first thing we need to do now that the shell is a bit tidier is this. It gets stuck on this side. See, this side already has part of it in the frame. So We need one on this side in the form of this adhesive one.
Definitely works better when you put it on straight, so I'm just going to readjust that.
That one's next. Don't need the middle part. Middle part out, do whatever you want with that. It's adhesive. This lines up like that. Notice the cutout, so it can only go in the one way. I should have peeled the backing off first, not the top side.
I've definitely made it harder for myself by peeling both sides of that tape off. I should have left the backing. Whoops.
There should be some little elasticy bits. Now we're ready to put the screen bit in. So we'll need to go in that way. I'm going to peel the protective cover off first because the edge of it is slightly behind the tape. So if I try and pull it off afterwards, I'm probably going to ruin something. Now I just need to be careful not to put fingerprints on it. Like that. I mean, ideally I could put the lens on now and that'll stop any dirt. Just going to place it in. I'm not gluing it in yet. Now it has 40 pin to 40 pin or 40 pin to 32 pin, so this will work on either any revision board. I have 32 pin version there, so I need to use that cable, which will go into that. It's folded over, other end gets put into that to make sure the contacts are on the right way. So there's a white line behind that, which is the marking for where that connector should be on. This bit here needs to contact the inside of the shell there. It's some sort of touch connector of some form. So I need to make a bend in it. So it'll sit back.
And now to plug it into the board piece, while also making sure that the touch sensor stays in the same spot so it is functional when it's all reassembled. Easier said than done.
That will then bend that way and into the board. Now the other thing we need to deal with on this board, loosey-goosey. Now I don't have the exact power switch for it, but I've got this little adapter thing. But if you look at the difference, it doesn't just wiggle, it snaps into place. So let's replace that before we attach the board. Taped it all up with the Captain tape. Hopefully protect everything around it. Yes, the switch is plastic. Yes, it's going to melt a bit. It's not going to like it. But it doesn't work anyway, and I don't care. So this thing is literally just an adapter. It says on and off on it, so you know which side it needs to go on. About there. Solder through the holes. That'll line up to the normal switch position.
So now we're going to solder them in. Now, like always when soldering, make sure you use flux. I shouldn't have to remind, but it's crucial to use flux for this stuff.
solder that one in, and we are hopefully all good.
Listen to that satisfying snap and click sound as it goes in place.
Seems better. Everything's coming along together nicely so far, which is always good. Let's have a quick word from our sponsor, PCBWay.
If you need high quality 3D printing without the headaches, PCBWay has you covered. They offer a vast range of print materials with insane accuracy and professional finishes. Perfect for prototypes, parts, or custom projects. Upload your file, choose your material, and they handle the rest. Fast turnaround, great pricing, and worldwide shipping. If you want your designs brought to life properly, check out PCBWay. In addition to this, they also have a web store where you'll find awesome tools, toys, and merch. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check them out for yourself.
Alright, power switch is all done. That's fine. I did place a pair of pliers on there to try and press on that ribbon cable so it's kind of folding in the spot it's supposed to be in. Whether or not it's helping, who knows. We need to put the buttons and everything back in before putting the board in. Just cleaning up the pads. Noticed this. Splitting them. So that one's no good to me anymore. Went and got a different one.
Hopefully my cable pressing method isn't destroying that board there, but it hasn't moved or scratched it or anything, so I think it's all good. About to put the main board back over the top now anyway, since I've got most of the pieces in below that are required.
So everything's back in now. It's just a case of getting this in, with the cable in, screwing it back in, and hopefully we are all good. Now, because of the metal contact points on that board, may come in contact with something on this board, I'm just going to put some electrical tape over to insulate it, because I don't want anything shorting out between the two. Insulated. Hopefully it's all good. Let's attach this. Now, because of my extra little board PC thing in there, I think I'm going to have to adjust these to be not so tall so that the shelf fits on properly. Take a little bit off the top. And that fits on perfectly. So let's get these last screws back in and see how it looks. Give it a test.
And compare it how it looks to the original.
Fun fact, this is the Emerald that I did one of my very early videos on about the battery. Replacement battery in there and it still works, so let's test. Yep. Like brightness levels. Scan lines. Black and white mode. And full color mode. It all appears to work. Much easier to play on than the original. Yeah, probably shouldn't have done this. And to relive my childhood, I did just beat the Elite Four. Because that screen feels quite nice. Turned out much nicer than I thought it would. I don't know, I've never been huge on the whole IPS versus TN or whatever. The colours never bothered me a whole lot. But seeing a Game Boy Advance that backlit and pretty, when I think about it 20 years ago and it didn't look like that at all, quite the difference. If you want an IPS display, link in the description below. It's an affiliate link, it does help me out a little bit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do a burn out.